Check it. So we're playing again on the pre-E3 build that we were playing on last week. This build is like a month old. We've had a month of polish since we've done this, and it's actually going to look completely different than compared to what we were doing with E3.
It hurts us inside to even show this.
I've actually heard Ellie legitimately said it hurts, and I've heard multiple people today say it hurts to see this, and it's like, it's great, I like it, but comparatively, the E3 thing is incredible. Like, we're light years past it now. But with that, Mike, would you like to bring us into showing off some?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we thought we might show today, because after we've been running through, showing some Fort Assaults, we've given a little bit of a glimpse of some of the skills that we have.
Oh yeah.
We've taken a bit of a cruise through the Predator skill tree, looked at some of those on the IGN First stream. But because we have so many skills and we have so many new skills that we've added since Shadow of Mordor, thought it might be interesting to go through one of the other skill trees and actually show some of the new features in combat and see how many of them we can get through in half an hour.
Bat. Hello, Bat.
That was a Hellhawk, Jared.
Excuse me. I saw like.
Gotta know your Mordor. They're not feathery. They're
Excuse
leathery.
Me, I saw his leathery wings. I got
wings.
excited because you said Hellhawk, and I was like, oh, except for
yeah. So if we go into the character screen to start. So basically we have all of our different skill options organized here, and we've got them categorized according to the different styles of play. So combat is all of our melee skills, using the sword, the dagger, the glaive. Predator we showed, that's the sort of bucket for all of our different stealth skills and options, ranged, pretty obvious. Wraith is sort of the bucket where we put a lot of Celebrimbor's skills and abilities. Then we have a whole tree around the mounted abilities, whether that's on the Drakes, the Caragors, etc. And then we have this other bucket at the bottom, which is the skills that unlock during the course of the story. We might even go down and look at some of them, because the glaive is pretty awesome as well. But to begin, let's start in combat, and just really wanted to focus on what's new in the game since Shadow of Mordor. And what we've tried to do is add more ability for the player to actually customize according to their own playstyle. So for example, execution, that's the skill where when you build up your might bar, and the might bar is also a new feature that we have in the game. Before, whenever you wanted to do the executions, hit the chords, that was always just determined by your hit counter.
Right.
But now you still have your hit counter, and as that grows, you can do more damage, reach further to attack enemies and so on. But the might bar actually fills separately. And what that does is it lets you kind of customize your play style depending on how you most like to play. So if we look at the different upgrades available, Grim Resolve is great. If you want to take damage and then give it back to your enemies, you can actually set this so your might grows as you get hit in combat, which Ellie probably doesn't need because you never get hit in combat.
Now, if I was a player who does get hit in combat, but I don't have Grim Resolve, would I have might go down, or would it stay the same?
It stays the same. It's not going to generally drain. So that option, which is the most skilled one, so I never get hit, but I want to optimize how quickly I can build my might.
Right.
That's going to be actually down the bottom. And that's Fatal Might. So this is for the most skilled players who want to be pulling off those chords and those executions as often as possible. So now every time Ellie successfully hits an enemy, that's going to build up even faster. And then the final option, if players want to play more stealthily, is Secret Might, and this will actually fill when you shoot an enemy without being detected, or when you do a stealth kill. And the advantage of that is that lets you prepare to enter combat in stealth and build up your might bar, whereas previously in Shadow of Mordor you could only build might through melee combat. So now if you want a more stealth style of play, you can actually use that as a way to enter combat, and then in combination with all the other skills we have then, like chaining abilities or brutal attacks, if you set yourself up, you can just decimate a group of enemies immediately on entering combat. So up to you.
That's awesome. Yeah. So what we were going to do is we were going to actually show you guys one and try it out in the world, and that's just the idea around combat right now. So we're going to get Fatal Might, which Fatal Might actually sounds very similar to how it was in Shadow of Mordor, where it was like you had your hit count go up.
Yep.
And then you kind of prefer that, you can go in that direction, because then you get hit and it's immediately gone.
Exactly, yes. So we'll just find some enemies in the world.
Dead one.
Oh, there they go. It's not too hard to find some orcs in Mordor.
This city's a great problem.
So I saw a question. We have a question.
It's a combination. You start with, okay, so this is already built, sorry, I will come back to that. But, so, not only built up to the level 1 of the executions, but if you notice now there's 2 colours on the mic bar that's filling up to the orange and then filling with the red. And so you can now do higher level executions as well. So you can do brutalities or stronger executions. So that's another feature we've added as well. Nice. So you start with most of the base skills that you built, that you had from the first game. Some other skills we've added that you automatically get from the beginning. So some of our movement skills, like sprinting. Some of the other skills associated, which you had by the end game, so of the domination, when you lose the 1 ring, you lose those. So you have to reacquire the ring to get those back. But then once you do get them back, they're more powerful than they were before. So we really wanted that same, in some ways, representing what happened in Shadow of Mordor, that first we're introducing the combat and that element of the gameplay, and then we're introducing the elements of the manipulation, the domination, and the forging your army. Because it's really important that we add new skills and new abilities and enhance the game for people that like Shadow of Mordor, but also that this is sort of even a bigger blockbuster version of the game. So if you didn't play Shadow of Mordor, this is a great place to start and jump in as well. So that's...
I don't want to try, so I'm going to quickly do some audio fixes, but please continue talking because that's a good way to move fear.
So that was cool. So this is our most basic and fundamental skill in combat, which is our executions. The fact that as you get deeper in the game and you get that upgrade, you can start using those executions more frequently. And it's not just the executions, it's also your AoE attack, also your ability to brand or dominate guys with those combat moves. So there's a lot of different moves that come off that. And that's, of course, the severing and the limbs flying there. That's new as well, which is nice. So, all right, next.
Yeah, we're still having a little static. Let's see. Are we still having some static? Where it's maybe a short in the wiring? Let's see. Some static. I have an idea. I'm going to turn this down. If you hear static from us, still, then we can identify that.
So hopefully we managed to communicate something about executions there. Is that the bees? Not the bees.
Is this the bees?
The Elder has his revenge.
Cool. Alright, so now... So you head up, and now... Ellie, if you could talk.
Talking. Can't wait to go and kill some orcs, decapitate, etc.
It's very nice.
Static. Is it me? Oh.
Fix Mike is good to go. Better sign only Jared's mic is shit.
Oh.
Same as Mike.
All right, we'll just forge on without Jared.
Oh, mine.
Okay. So actually, this next row, this is one of my favorites. And so countering is obviously a really key skill in combat, but now you can upgrade what happens when you counter with a few different choices again. So this one's really handy. So the rain of arrows means that when you counter, you can actually gain ammo. So if you want to mix ranged combat in with your melee, this one's incredibly handy. This one feeds might, so every time you counter, especially if you stack this with what Ellie had last time of the perfect might, you can just be doing executions all over the place and just building up that might bar incredibly quickly. That's the thing, not only are there all of these individual upgrades, but there's lots of cool synergies between them and then between the gear as well. And then the third one is my other favorite, along with the other two. Fatal counter. This one means that when you counter, if you time it perfectly, right at the moment of impact, you can actually reverse it and you can kill grunts and other units as well. This one's really great for dealing with big groups of enemies.
Which one do you want, Mike?
Your choice. It's probably gonna.
I never do this one, so let's try this one.
This is my favorite. These are great. Well, they're all my favorite. So we'll dive back into some
You don't have
combat here.
favorites, but this is your favorite child.
I think that was the top.
Oh, just quietly burning yourself to death. Oh, it's just on the counter. So on the counter, there's. You notice the counter icon. Oh, see where it's blue?
Yeah.
So it's just perfect timing on the counter.
I gotta wait. Ah, it's hard. Dude.
should have warned you before.
Oh, there's spiders.
Ah, spiders.
Spiders do.
The poison makes it pretty hard to escape from that situation.
A question for me about this floating on the left side.
Oh, those are the icons for the gems. So if you have treasure orcs or also beasts as well, you can drop gems and then you can get them and imbue them into your items, your armor. This is a bit lame for the controller as well.
How can like that talk? I got him now.
Alright.
We got a request for group live.
Oh, there we go.
Perfect.
So once you get that,
Timing's gotta
once you
be
get the
right.
timing great, and then that also works with the multi-counters as well. So later when you
There
get
we
big
go.
battles, you can do the double counter and have, just out of one set of counters, have Celebrimbor taking someone out and Talion. So you can just like decimate groups of enemies. Yeah, it's definitely, but it is cool. Yeah, in the larger battles, that one's really cool.
We actually had a question for what tribe is she fighting right now, which would be the opportunity to talk about the
Yeah, if we-
agnostic tribe part of the grunts.
Yeah, so the tribes and basically the initiation into the tribes, getting the tribal armor, all that stuff is what they gain when they join the hierarchy, so when they get promoted. So the grunts are usually just wearing the base armor and the base gear, but the different tribes do actually tend to have different patrols through the wilderness and so on, different classes. So
Right.
if the feral tribe's in charge of the region, you're going to see more patrols of cavalry and so on. If the machine tribe is there, you're going to encounter more slaves. So the basic grunts don't belong to the tribes in the same way, but who you're actually going to encounter and what the mix of units will vary according to who's in charge. All right.
We actually have a request to die to an orc. So
We
someone
can
will-
die.
Yeah, to see someone become a captain.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah.
As I will continue to get this battery out.
We can do that first before, and then come back and take our vengeance using the next combat skill. We can even die.
Okay, assuming that they're behind.
Yep.
Gotta add that little bit.
These guys being so passive. We got 6 weeks to fix that.
Make everybody
That's it. This is, you already mentioned that. This is a whole build as well. These pants. So this guy prior to this couldn't even afford pants, let alone a tribe. But now successfully.
What is this?
Oh no!
Oh no.
This is nothing.
Don't do it! Not the sword breaker.
Oh no! Well,
Really gotta.
enjoy your weakness quality window.
Okay, so in this particular case as well, where he's actually smashed Ellie's weapon, which is obviously a big incentive for vengeance, but the other thing that does is all of your weapons and your gear through the gear system actually dropped according to the tribe, the traits, the class, the role, everything of that particular nemesis. So although she lost that sword, once she defeats that Olog and gets it back, it's going to be an upgraded and even more powerful version of that same weapon, so we're not taking that away. Oh, now the weather's changed as well. Now we're hunting him in the rain. Is he in the army screen?
He is not actually.
So not only does he not have his pants on, he's also absconded from the army screen with your sword. Unbelievable.
Let's look at the skill tree.
Okay. Who said we should go off script here? That was madness. So critical strikes. These are not the executions, so these are on your main X attacks. Actually, they can also be on some other attacks as well. But by timing the hits and not mashing the buttons, so basically one hit per enemy, you have a chance to do more damage or to put them into different states, so knock them down, stun them, and so on. And then on your critical strikes, we've got 3 different upgrades we can put to those as well. So actually this one, the reprisals, sort of similar to what we were seeing on the Might before, where as you're taking damage to enemies, you're becoming more powerful as well, and of course those things can stack. So as your health's going down, your chance to actually damage and take down enemies goes up. This one's cool. So this is another one that's really optimized for skillful players and big groups and epic battles. So if you keep your hit streak up above 30, you're just going to be decimating and carving through enemies and even potentially one-shotting them. This is my other favorite. So this one again is the most skilled version, where if you can sustain the timing and get the precise timing, you're really going to be able to start one-shotting those grunts and doing more damage on every shot.
Oh, that's awesome.
This one, it's probably harder to really show the difference in the context of the demo and the video and so on, but when you play, it just makes an enormous difference to the balancing of the game, depending on your play style.
Try for this one.
Yeah, and maybe we can see something if we can find a... oh yeah, go, sure. Hit streak up above 30. The challenge here is you need to have lots of enemies because you're killing them so fast that keeping it up there. Maybe there's a
Get this one back too.
mission we can head towards somewhere around. Or in the fortress. In the fortress is probably a
Run in
good
the
place
fort,
to...
raise the alarm.
Yep. Should be a good spot to take the streak up.
My voice has been returned, so I took a bit. If you guys are
Another treasure.
a Little Mermaid reference, I got my magic voice from the conch again.
Blood and pain.
So we've got different combat opportunities and things in the environment as well now. So where they've basically built this factory and stuff and this logging plant outside the fortress.
Perfect.
There's still a massive barrel there.
Like his arms.
Back
A little bit on fire.
So what ability are we showing now?
So this is the critical hits.
Right.
So this is Ellie's got it equipped, so if we get our hit streak up to 30. So the goal here at the moment is set the alarm off, and once the alarm is off, this fortress is going to start swarming with enemies, and that's going to help
Alright.
defenders as well. So you're going to find more elite and dangerous inside the fortress. And we can see down next to the mini-map there, next to the wrath bar, which is the blue one, that red icon just shows that the fortress is gone, so it's high alarm.
Shark birds.
Shark, which I forget my black speech, but...
Home of the
the
sharks.
enemies. Yeah.
Shark bird. Hey, perfect.
The archers are going to make some damage.
So one of the side questions that I actually was, could you do like we mentioned this last time, which was battles outside of the fortresses, so that were like larger scale. So we do have those. That is one. So there's questions there.
And those ones, the pitched battles, they tend to take place when there's two war chiefs fighting against each other. Shadow of Mordor always had. Oh, right, I feel guilty of that. These were rough. Oh, there it is.
So to remind you guys what's going on, Ellie's trying to get over 30 hit streak, and then it will give her an increased critical hit chance. But we were interrupting her and weren't being quiet enough.
Good way to get that together up is the flurry. So like the B stun sets them up, and then you can really put it down.
Absolutely. Jumping over.
Dying too
They're so
fast.
afraid of me though, they're running away.
Stop being as good. I think actually like creating a lot of like quick kill or like perfect Y hits and stuff like that is actually detrimental to building up your hit streak. So this would be
Yeah, and there are tensions between those. That's why
Right.
you can create different builds depending on
how you choose to play.
play style as well.
Right.
And sometimes not killing the grunts as quickly so that you can build your might bar up further is really what you want if you want to focus on taking down the captains and
Right.
the boss enemies as well. So really, like later in the game, as you become ridiculously powerful, the grunts almost become a resource that you're going to use in combat, and the focus totally switches to, all right, so now,
Oh, 46.
basically every hit on the X now, you can start getting like...
Oh, you're a 2 again!
Oh!
Let's see, from Booble F80, will there be a... Let's see, oh no, that was stupid. That was Aslar Must Live On. There won't be a demo. There's I mean, our plan right now is at E3 there will be a playable demo, but it's not going to be like a beta you can download online or something like that. It's, at E3 we'll have a playable demo that's there.
Yep.
And
presumably other,
yeah.
shows after that. So there will definitely, hopefully, chances for people to get their hands on the game before it comes out.
Good. That dash is cool because you can dash through people sometimes too.
Oh, sorry.
They can hear you, Mike.
I keep forgetting that. Feels like we're alone in here.
In a little bit. I think so. This is something that we wanted to have just at least to give a snippet. So we got a couple people were asking about the October delay, and I mean the reason why we have a delay is because we want to polish the game and make it better for you. Like that's inherently the reason. It's
Yeah, and we can see, I mean, this build's old now, and just
Right.
the number of things we see here that we know we've already fixed, whether it's graphical or gameplay or AI. I think the thing for us that we've learned in the course of doing this game is just how much bigger it is than Shadow of Mordor
Oh, yeah.
in every dimension. So
Yeah.
the size of the game, the number of enemies, the complexity of the combat system,
Absolutely.
the nemesis system. So the process of actually testing and debugging and fixing that is just absolutely massive. And
Oh, yeah.
we know we have to, when this game ships, the level of polish and stability and balance has to be better than we did on Shadow of Mordor. So we've got this really high bar that we have to beat.
Right.
But
exactly.
sounds easy when you say it like that, but it's just a phenomenal amount of work.
Oh, dude. Let's
All right,
let's pick another one.
How long we got?
We have about 5 minutes.
Oh wow, okay, and we're only halfway through the streak. These three are my absolute favourites. So the ground finisher is any enemy that's knocked down, you can execute them, which is a really powerful ability.
Right.
The thing is, you can be interrupted while you're doing that. So the base level of this ability, you can't really exploit it too much. You've got to make sure you've got enough room, or you've thrown the enemy to the ground and
Right.
knocked over other guys. But all of these upgrades really allow you to make that a core part of the combat. Fury, this is really fun. This is the kind of actually it's an Easter egg to the Hyperion. I think it was Hyperion Rush in God of War 2, mate. It might have been one of the PSP ones, but it's just so awesome.
Just
The
such a good move.
Yeah, and lets you build your hit streak up as
Right.
you're taking these guys down.
Builds up your might as well.
Yep.
It's my personal favorite.
Right, we'll totally show that one, but we'll have a quick look at the others because they're cool as well. The Wraith Shield, this is really handy because now while you're doing the ground takedown, you can still counter.
Right.
So, which means you can actually, if you're using that, it's particularly effective against captains, nemesis enemies, especially if they're resistant to execution.
Oh yeah.
So that really cuts off a lot of your options in combat. But now if you can knock them down, you can do a lot of damage
Right.
with the ground takedown and still counter.
My personal favorite, actually. Yeah.
The third one, this actually is my favorite.
What's it?
This is the drain. So now after you've knocked them down in combat, you can use the Wraith abilities to either drain them, which means
Right.
you're going to recover resources, health, whatever. But once you've upgraded and you've got the ring and you can brand them, this is a really great way to quickly dominate enemies and actually
yeah.
turn them to be on your side in combat.
And get health, right?
Yes, yeah. So
Yeah.
once you upgrade to have the branding as well, you don't lose the drain and the sort of resource gathering. We actually got rid of flowers since Shadow of Mordor. Flowers used to be one of our
vegetables?
health mechanics, but now orcs are your flowers. So when you want to pluck a little flower, you do it.
Pluck their face.
Yeah, you pluck their face.
Cool.
Their pretty little face.
So should we do one of those?
All right.
Since we've seen the flurry and the fury. Professor Grimm, I'm a botany. Yeah. We have now the Orkshire botany.
This is little hands or something.
I think it hurts.
Okay.
Alright, knock him down. We need to knock somebody down and also have a dude attacking you from behind. They
It's
waited.
just covering his eyes. I couldn't believe he was.
There it is.
Good on you, Celebrimbor.
Alright, let's grab another one.
Okay.
Because we're trying to push through since we only have a short amount of time.
And now, of course, as we're going along here, we're getting into the more powerful and more advanced skills.
Oh yeah. Punching. Too infuriating. How quick, combined with the
Incredibly powerful.
yeah, what was it? The Relentless Might?
Yep.
It's that very quickly, immediately have a might built up.
Yeah, and then so from that one guy on the ground, then we're back out of that,
Right.
and huge AoE. And then, I don't know if you noticed, we're not showing this, but on the AoEs, you can upgrade them so you can set guys on fire or poison or freeze them as well.
Oh yes. Perfect.
I like when you throw the guys. It's not just getting them on the ground, you can also use it to knock down enemies as well.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Or use them as
There we go. There's ground drain. Cool. So that's another way to basically quickly get your health back, because otherwise you'd have to use like a cord, like AOB or something, to do the combat dominate.
yeah, which means you're spending all of
Combat
your
drain,
might,
yeah.
or you have to take more time to do it. So it's a
Right.
really fast way. But all of these just add up. You just grow so enormously in combat as you go through. But the enemies are becoming a lot more powerful than they were last time as
Oh,
well.
indeed. So we now have the brutal aggression. So
Yeah,
you can
so
do-
we already had all of the base skills unlocked. So Ellie already had the level 2 of the might. And so brutal attacks, what they do is they actually spread fear as well.
Right.
So as well as doing more damage, if you're going to use it against a captain, if you're using it against a grunt, it can now actually terrify and kind of clear out a bunch of guys. Oh yeah, this one's cool.
So I was just gonna say, I see there's a bunch of people who are asking if we're gonna go off to kill the Swordbreaker, and it was one of those moments. It's like, so this is a pre-E3 build, and for whatever reason, Swordbreaker's hiding from us right now.
I think it
And
was
so-
his embarrassment over the fact that he had the other thing where he'd forgotten his pants.
He forgot his pants,
Right.
and he was.
There's
It's like
no way.
it's like having that dream where you wake up in high school and you're not wearing pants, and then you find out you're on a stream. Like,
Yeah.
just combo. So we're not gonna be able to do that right now. I'm sorry. So we will continue, but the Wraith execution is gonna be fantastic.
Check this one out really quick.
How many can you get?
Oh, the other thing is it uses focus. So
Right.
focus is a resource that enables you to slow time when you're hovering in the air for range as well. But it also is used for the dash skill, and it's also what you use. So if you're upgrading your focus, upgrading the core stat for that is on the ring.
Right.
So the more focus you have, the more you can chain together.
Right. So I guess the next question is, Ellie, how many can you get for this Wraith execution? Right. It's you might want to try switching to a different one of the might gain, or do that fury attack again. That was a really good way to play. I am sorry. We got
Oh,
one.
one more.
Yes, that was a good demonstration of what it was.
And you can aim that, so it goes into slow-mo while you're doing it as well. So
Yeah.
you pick the next target. And the similar ones are those off stealth kills as well.
All right.
Did you have you forgot the refill? It's not cool. Anyway, and alright, we're gonna make it to the end. What's our last?
Cool. This is the fire
You have
takes
to
a
die
minute.
again.
You're gonna have to die again. Try somebody else. Let's see. So retaliation. Ah,
Hang on,
interesting.
did we show the other upgrade on the brutality?
No
Oh
longer do-
yes. So this is so rather than chaining them together,
Mm-hmm.
now when you do your executions, they don't fully drain the buff. So now you
Right.
can do more normal executions as well.
So it gives you the opportunity because it goes for all abilities. So anything that you're trying to use.
Yep, and plus, yeah, so if you want to mix it up and do the AoE in conjunction with the execution, or
Right.
again, if you're particularly focused on a captain,
Uh-huh.
so it's not that you're trying to take down a group of grunts.
Do you want to check that one out, or
Cool.
do you?
So
last
Well, we'll
chance?
go on to the...
We have like, I mean, this is going to be our last skill because we're technically 2 minutes over.
Okay. So we have our last chance. Actually, something we've added since this build is you can now keep track of how many last chances you have remaining as well. But what this lets you do is different upgrades to what happens as the result of being successful at the last chance as well. So you can have an additional last chance, which obviously makes the game significantly easier.
Right.
Unless you meet some bastard orc who gives you no chance and just kills you anyway. Draining the attacker.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, so this means you're actually not only going to survive, but you're going to come back with another ally on
Right.
your side. And then full might on the last chance as well. The advantage of that one is you're now back into the fight, but you're
Right.
back into the fight and ready to do an execution or other AoE and otherwise take vengeance on the guy who just knocked you down.
Oh, fantastic. And I like how that has the skill bit where you have to, on a perfect last chance.
Yes.
So, Ellie, you think you can do it?
And perfect.
Actually, no, I'm not good at these.
Oh.
I can try.
You can try one of the other ones.
Okay. Let's try this one. That's the coolest one.
It is a little chaotic. I mean, your health's really low, though, so
Yeah.
it's actually maybe a good idea to stay down there. All the fire propagating.
Just want to call that out as well. F5 is better. But the
Yeah.
having the fire propagate, burn its way through these fortresses, and then ignite the other barrels of the oil.
Right.
That's so much chaos.
That's awesome.
So the perfect's going to be the little circle.
Close, close.
I got two left.
Try two, try two. They're all scared. Fantastic Ellie's go. Just hanging out with your bros now. On fire. So I love how the fire is just like propagating to enough that people stand in it long enough just end up getting burned. Alright, here we go. It's all you, Ellie. Oh, yeah, we didn't see that.
Oh!
Ook, book!
Yeah, you can't believe it! I'm on a stream!
Talk Slayer!
Good for Ook. This
I
is
quite like the sound of that. Talk Slayer! From now on, I will be known as the Talk Slayer!
for everybody at home. We don't have any audio coming from the TV, so we just watched an orc just mouth at us for a little bit, and we're just like, yeah, we know what he says. We've heard it so many times. But anyway, so that is what we have to show you guys today for as far as like what abilities we have and kind of a little bit more of gameplay. We'll have another stream next week.